Hello, everyone. Ciao. Welcome. Thank you for coming to today's webinar about the good life abroad in Rome, Italy. I'm really excited about this. Rome is one of our newest destinations. But before we dive into that, just a quick bit of housekeeping. This is being recorded, and if you've registered for this webinar, we will send you a recording in your email tomorrow. So be on the lookout tomorrow for this webinar. Okay? And at the end of this conversation, we will open it up to questions. We will please use the Q&A function in Zoom. There's a little button in the Zoom toolbar that says Q&A. Please click that. You can enter your question. Do not raise your hand. Do not type in the chat. We're not looking at that. We are looking at the Q&A, and we'll get to those questions toward the end of our conversation today. So without further ado, please let me introduce Roberta. And those who don't know me, I'm Andrew Motiwalla. I am the founder and CEO of The Good Life Abroad. And Roberta, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's evening in Italy. Great to have you. Can you
Thank you.
introduce yourself to the group?
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for this webinar, Andrea. I'm so happy to be here to speak about my beautiful city. Well, I'm from Naples, okay, but I was born in Naples. I moved in Rome 30 years ago, more or less, for study reason, for work reason. And then, of course, I decided to stay. Of course, because, well, Rome is so charming and beautiful, and I really, really fell in love with the city.
Hmm,
So, and now I'm in Rome since 30 years, actually, and I'm running tours and cultural, let's say I'm in the cultural tourism sector.
great, great. So I got to ask, which is your football team? Is it Naples? Is it Napoli, or is it Rome? Because that could be very difficult when you go back to visit family in Naples.
You're absolutely right. So it depends where I am. Because I'm really not very fan of football. I love the game, but I don't like a lot. But well, it depends. When with my friends in Rome, oh, Rome for sure. Hey, Rome. And when I'm in Naples, Naples. Napoli.
Okay. Very good. Very practical. Very practical. Great. So before we dive too much into Rome specifically, I know there's some people who might be joining us who don't even know too much about the Good Life Abroad. And I'd like to just start kind of give a quick overview. For those who don't know, the Good Life Abroad is a month-long experience that is fundamentally an independent travel experience. However, you do get an apartment for yourself, um, and in the same building are other apartments with other community members. So you have sort of built-in community of friends living around you, but you're on your own, you're in your own apartment, and it's not a tour. What we do is we provide the support of a local community manager, in this case, Roberta. And Roberta organizes a series of activities and events throughout the course of the month. And these activities and events are a way for the community to come together, like a touch point, and get some connection, strike up some connection, and maybe you make some new friends along the way, and then kind of have time to go out and explore the city independently, but with the guidance and support of Roberta, who can recommend things to you, or any of our city community managers. This works the same way in all of our cities. So you have your independent experience, you have your apartment, you have the support of the community manager, your community of other travelers, and we provide a layer of security with travel medical insurance and evacuation insurance as well. Um, and then there is some optional programming as well. But that's the fundamental program. So it's a series of safety nets to support you while you do an independent month in living in the city like a local. So let's just dive into Rome, though, and what makes Rome special. Now, I know when I speak to people this who are considering going on the Good Life route, they say, "Oh, I've been to Rome before. I don't want to go back again." And I think Rome is one of, this is my opinion, Roberta, you tell me, but I think Rome is one of the most visited but least understood cities because I
It is.
think everyone visits a lot of the same places, but they don't really get to know the city. And for me, I spent some time in Rome, and I think it is it's so it's the essence of the Italian spirit in the city, right? The
It's true.
beauty and the culture and the kind of friendly, warm vibes. To me, this is what I love. Of course, I love going to see the fountains and the Colosseum, the Vatican. It's all nice, but it's the soul of the city that resonates with me, and I that's what I love. And I'm not gonna lie, the food. I don't know. But Roberta, tell us, what do you love about Rome and what makes it special for you?
Well, for me, the special of Rome is, first of all, the fact that it's really the eternal city. Because history lives everywhere, and this is absolutely the most overwhelming thing about Rome. But not only the Roman, the Roman Empire heritage. I'm speaking also about the different history period, like the Renaissance art, the Baroque fountains, for example. The fact that Rome shaped the Western civilization in law,
Mm,
language, architecture, everything, and of course, in more practical way, the food and the vibe. People here live in a very relaxed way. We live like La Dolce Vita taught us. Maybe some people know about the sweet life. So, yes, this is what makes a special Rome. The food, for example, is really simple. It's very simple, but full of flavor and very easy to reproduce as well. Um, and then, well, of course, the spiritual art of Rome. Rome is the only city in the world that has another city, another state inside, and that attracts so many people. It's a very spiritual place, and it is. You feel it. You believe or not, you feel it. And this makes Rome, I mean, absolutely overwhelming, but in a positive way.
mhm. Yeah, I think some people have expressed to me that, oh, it seems a little overwhelming or intimidating because it's a big city. But I think when you spend time there,
It's not. Sorry if I really stress this so much when I speak also with people that have never seen Rome, I've never been here. Yes, Rome is big, of course, it's a capital of Italy, but you have really to imagine Rome like small neighborhoods, and all these neighborhood has its own life, its own center, its own piazza, and it's different. People that live here is not the same of the people that live in another neighborhood. We have 17 neighborhood, more or less.
mm,
So think about Rome like that. Overwhelming is just the history that surrounds you, not the city itself.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. I think overwhelming is more like there's an endless, literally endless number of things to explore and discover. But I love this idea of like it's really 17 neighborhoods and they all have their own unique character. And like I know when I'm visiting the Good Life Abroad in Paris, each day I like to go to a different arrondissement, a different district. So it's like today I'm gonna explore this neighborhood and learn all about that, right? Um,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
so yeah, Rome has all of these touristy things, and um, this is not to scale, and it's not proportional. But yes, these are the things that people think of when they think of Rome, and you will have plenty of time to see all of this. I don't know if we're including some of these visits in the program, Roberta, or
Of course, I've put some of the main, not Colosseum or Vatican Museum, but visiting, for example, the historical center under different points of view. Okay, so well, I don't want to spoil too much, but yes. So well, some of these, yes, of course, the squares, the piazza, Piazza Navona, Campo dei Fiori, all the legends that are behind them. Because you visit the squares, you see the Bernini statue, and you see, oh well, it's beautiful, but you don't know what's really behind. And every piazza tells a story, really. Every monument also tells a story. So yes, we are going to see something of that. But I will leave the most, let's say, touristy attractions for our guests to be independent. I mean, to visit independently with my suggestions, of course.
sure, sure. Yeah, and I think one of the things I have experienced in Rome is that when you spend enough time there, you see all this and it's great, it's wonderful, but really getting out and seeing the rest of the city, there's so much more to the city
Absolutely.
than just this. And I think
And
having a
underground,
month, what's that?
also underground. Nobody knows about the underground Rome that there is. It's magical.
Think about, I think I read it in a book by Dan Brown, The Da Vinci Code or something. But yes, I mean, so much above ground, below ground, in the countryside just outside of Rome.
Absolutely.
I think my hope for people is, yeah, to see this, but to really get to see the city and the region at a much deeper level. So let's talk about where we'll stay. Let's get into the practicalities. This is a common question. I can't pronounce Italian Salustiano, I guess.
Yes, that's perfect.
All right, all right. Oh, good for me. And I know we're staying in this, everyone is staying in the same building. You could see the exterior of the building on the screen. So it's a modern building. It's not a ancient building. Um, and they have their modern apartments, the air conditioning, it has an elevator, and there's a kitchen. And there's next later on there's a photo of that. Um, but let me see, show you where it's located. So we're
Beautiful.
here, right? People know the Trevi Fountain here. What, 15, 20 minutes, depending on how fast you walk. Here to the main Rome train station, this is what, 15 minutes, probably.
Yes,
Okay. Colosseum is down here. Uh,
exactly.
and then the river is over here. So this is very common, and it's what we try to do in all of the good life abroad cities, is we don't want to live in the middle of the tourist crowds. We want to be 15, 20 minutes walking away. So you can easily walk down into the tourist areas. You can see all that, but actually being out here in Salustiano, maybe tell us a little bit about the neighborhood, Roberta.
Yes, the neighborhood is absolutely one of the most beautiful, and this is not, it really is the most beautiful, the most serviced. You find really everything in this neighborhood. It's a very residential area, where there are also a lot of offices, so a lot of romance around there. Supermarket. There's a theater. There is a small mall. We don't have big malls, so we have a small mall as well. Bar, cafe, restaurant, trattoria. But it's a characteristic neighborhood. Okay, it's not like, well, Trastevere, today Trastevere is very touristy, even if it has its own charm. But Salustiano is really, really not very known, absolutely, by tourists. So there are no many tourists at all.
There's actually Roman people living there.
Yes, absolutely. Roman people and hotels and banks and the showmaker,
Mm. Oh,
uh, rooftop terraces, everything, really everything. Buses, bus stops, metro stop underground. The National Gallery of Old Antique Art, the Museum of Modern History. I mean, everything, really. You
great,
can
great.
live
Yeah.
there and not going out of this neighborhood
This is
just
one.
to.
So I think that's really good for people to understand when they're considering this, is that you live just outside of things, and you really, the idea is live like a local and enjoy the touristy things, but having the local vibe, I think, is key here.
Exactly.
And one of the things, it's hard to see it. You could see this M for Repubblica. This is a metro station, but I believe there's another metro station even closer to the building.
The
Some
Barberini one.
Berberini.
Barberini and Repubblica. Repubblica looks like far, but it's really 7 minutes walking, 7:10, I would say.
Okay. I thought there was one kind of back here also, but the point is that within 7, 10 minute walk, you can be at a metro station, and that will allow you to get out all over the city. And Roberta, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that you will
Mhm.
actually teach them how to take the metro.
Of course. Of course, we will have a ride on the metro. I will teach them how to tap and go. This is very comfortable. We will have also our ride on a bus, so they know, people know, guests know where to take a bus if they don't want to walk through the metro station. They can take a bus of the many that pass over there and go to the metro. But we will have a ride on the metro, of course, and we will have a lunch, a small lunch in an area they will never visit for sure on their own.
Okay,
So
great.
yes,
Great. So yeah, so part of the orientation is
of
really
course.
teaching you how to live like a local, how to learn to take buses and subways, which is great because the public transportation system is really good here. And this is a question we sometimes get, do I have to rent a car? No, you do not need a car in Rome. Absolutely
No,
not.
absolutely no.
Um, all right, so the apartment, here's some more photos to show people it's not luxury, but it's clean, it's safe, it's modern. Um, we have one bedroom and two bedroom options. The two bedroom has there's a master bedroom with a bathroom connected, and there's a second bedroom with a bathroom on the hallway, accessible via the hallway. And the second bedroom is a little smaller than the master bedroom, but it's still comfortable.
Yeah, this
Um,
is sorry for interrupt you.
yeah,
I would like to clear up a little bit this because this is a very Italian layout of standard or of apartments in general. So it's not because there is a bigger room and another small room. No, as you said, generally there is a master bedroom and then always there is a smaller bedroom if it's a two-bedroom apartment. So it's a general layout. So yes, that's very important, I think, to underline. The
great.
amenities are the same.
Yeah, yeah. And there's not a photo here of the kit. You can see a bit of the kitchen. It has a oven and it has a four top electric cooktops. Um, and the coffee machine that's with the capsule. So you put the capsule and the coffee. And you see the sitting area, there's a smart television. So if you have Netflix, you can stream your Netflix in the sitting area. So it's great for cooking some meals. Is it a gourmet chef's kitchen? No. But if we're making simple meals, totally fine. Refrigerator and weekly cleanings of the apartment.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
anything you want to add about the apartments, Roberta?
Well, there are two elevators just in case one elevator breaks or have some hiccups. So, well, that's comfortable. They're very silent. They're double pane, so they're very comfortable during night as well. Um, yes, clean, comfortable, and beautiful. The view, there are some that have a nice view. Some of them have balconies. Depends in Rome, there are not many buildings with balconies, unfortunately. But yes, very comfortable, really very comfortable.
Great. Thank you. All right,
Thank
so
you.
let's talk about what are we doing? We're in this nice apartment. We're in beautiful city. What are we actually doing? I think here, uh, Roberta, I'll let you kind of describe some of the things that people could look forward to doing in Rome.
Sure. Let me just, well, let's say that the room program was structured or designed in the way that people can really enjoy the city from different points of view. Okay, so there is history, of course, walking tour of ancient Rome, as you wrote, architecture, but there are also music, some jazz music. There is also, of course, a cooking class. You have to learn how to cook to make our recipes. Well, we have also walk in the nature, the countryside, so people can really live Rome under a different point of view. It's not only, of course, history and ancient Rome, but we're going to do our weekly happy hour in different bars and neighborhood of Rome. So you can live the vibe of different area again. Um, yes, and then, well, of course, the Tuesday lunch club. Our lunch club will be again in different area. Some also underground, but I don't spoil too much.
Ooh.
Oh yes, and also we're going to have a night of jazz on. I don't want to tell too
Ah,
much.
that's okay. We need to save some of it for when they're there as a
Yeah,
surprise.
of course. Some crash course of Italian with me, of course. Every day I will teach you something new because this is a thing that I love, like showing you my city. And we are going even to the beach. Yes, we have a beach. Rome has a beach. Okay, it's very local, no tourists at all, because it's nothing special, but it's our beach. And it's nice to have an aperitivo there at the sunset. And that's it.
Well, I think this is something that I like to highlight. And one of the things I love about in all of the Good Life Abroad programs is, you know, people say, oh, this Tuesday lunch club is just having lunch somewhere. No, the lunch club and the happy hours actually have many reasons behind it. You know, what you said, Roberta, I think is right on. One is you are going to you, Roberta, are intentionally choosing places to take people to different parts of the city that they might not see on their own and sharing with them, yeah, look at this neighborhood or this, region. And then we often in these lunch clubs will maybe pre-order some things and you might try foods that you did not know about before. Oh, I see this on the menu. I wasn't sure. I know me. I recognize pizza. I recognize pasta, but what is that? And sometimes it's a little nervous. What is it? Here, it's having someone explain, oh, these things. Now I know, oh, I like this thing. And next time I go out by myself, I can order it and I'm not afraid. And I think that's really cool. So one, you're learning a new neighborhood. Two, you're learning new foods, and some also the cultural significance of the foods because there's a
Oh,
story behind the food always. And then
always.
three, the way our week works. Okay, so you arrive, we have the next day orientation, welcome party, but then you fall into a rhythm. And the rhythm is the Tuesday lunch club, Wednesday we have some kind of cultural activity, and Thursday we have their happy hour. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday is we don't have anything scheduled, and people are off exploring on their own, or maybe going to neighboring towns or going out, to other places for the weekend. And Tuesday's a time when our community, and we really are a community, that comes back together. And it's a great time to catch up on what have you been up to? Oh, we went to, the Amalfi Coast for the weekend. It was great. We did this. Oh, cool. Or we found the best gelato place. You got to try this one. And Tuesday is a time of community and fellowship as well. And I love that about Tuesday. And Thursday is similar, where it's just a nice kind of chilled out happy hour, have a drink, come together as a community, swap stories about what's been happening, and new friendships might form as well. And you might even learn a thing or two about these other neighborhoods, because again, she's drawing you out to different places. So there's a lot of thinking that goes on behind all these things as well. All right, so we keep saying talking about community, community. What does that mean exactly? So community is, first of all, it's the whole program is cohort based. So there's a certain start date where everyone starts together, and before they even arrive, a month before, we do a Zoom call, kind of like this, where everyone in the group comes together with Roberta, and we talk about, okay, what's going to happen prior to arrival, on arrival day, kind of just how to get there and land and get settled in. And then the next day we do orientation all together, and then we get deeper. We teach you more, like she said, take how to take public transit, how to get groceries, how to get settled in and be really empowered on how to live like a local. And then we use WhatsApp. Now, this is a text messaging app that is everyone uses in Europe and is less popular in the United States, but it is a great tool to use. And we use it because they have a community feature. And on the right, you could just see a screenshot of this example. It happens to be Florence, but you could see at the top it has announcements. And this is where Roberta will, or any community manager send the announcement. This is what's happening tomorrow at this time. Here's the link. Click it to see Google Maps and how to get there, and what we're doing. So this is a kind of announcement channel. But
Yes.
then the really cool part is there's groups that you all, the community members, can create. And the people create groups based on different affinities. So maybe you see in this example, running buddies, people who want to be and do fitness things, solo travelers, member to member, sort of a free for all. Someone started a book club, but you might create something like, hey, people who are history buffs, because Rome has so much history, or what I might start as foodies, who wants to just go try lots of food. And so you all, the community members create these groups, and suddenly different people in the group start to connect based on these shared affinities. And what you find is that the community of people all this takes on a life of its own, and suddenly you might have more activities within the community than were part of the official scheduled program, and it's really beautiful. And maybe you don't become best friends with everyone in the group, but you find a handful of people that you really click with, and suddenly you find yourself doing things, or maybe the group does impromptu happy hours, or goes out for a sunset drink. So this community really becomes a big part of the program, although people don't necessarily realize it beforehand. It really becomes a interesting group. So you're wondering who's in this though? Like, tell me, what are these people? Why will I be friends with them? Well, on average, we have about 15 people in a group. It ranges on the low end, about 10. You can go as high as in the low 20s. On average, it's 65 and a half, but really it's a curve, right? Some people are younger, some people are older, and it just sort of averages out there. And it varies again from group to group. About 30% of the group are solo travelers. Again, it varies by cohort, but it doesn't matter if you're a solo traveler or you're traveling as a couple, because this is a community-based experience. What we find is that the community treats everyone as part of the community, and they look out for each other. If you're a solo, or if you're a couple, or wherever, we're all in this together, and we're all sort of a family of sorts. And so it's not exclusionary, like, oh, it's a couples thing. No, it's a solo thing. It find across the board that it's very inclusive and welcoming, primarily from the United States, 90%, some Canadians, and a random other country here and there. But the thing that really unites people is they have traveled extensively. Our people have traveled, and they've maybe been to Rome before, but they've maybe done the tour, or they've been on a cruise, and they've done a few days in a lot of places. But the thing that unites them is they want to go deeper. They actually want the cultural immersion. And the type of person who wants that cultural immersion is a unique type of traveler. And I think that's something we find very that holds them together. Anything you want to add to that, Roberta, about the community of people?
Well, this I think that they will live really. Maybe people don't realize now, but this is a really unforgettable experience. The fact of being a community, because as you said, friendship that will last really forever. So that's the best of this program. Stay together, share stuff, things together, or independently. So
Great.
yes.
All right, so the person who holds it all together is this wonderful person you see in two places on your screen now, Roberta. And the thing to understand with the community manager is that they actually have many jobs. They wear different hats. One is orienting you, teaching you how to live like a Roman, also to organize the activities, but also to connect people to whatever your interest is, to things that might be interesting. So I love that Roberta mentioned that she dropped a hint about the jazz, and she knows me, she knows Andrew loves jazz. And so, when I'm there, she'll be like, "Oh, by the way, Andrew, there's this cool jazz thing happening. People don't know about, but you might like it." That's the kind of thing that makes this program special. It's different from just going to like TripAdvisor or to a website. What things to do in Rome? Here is about having somebody who knows you and knows the city and can connect you to the right things for you. And that's what makes the community manager so magical in my mind. And they also can assist you in planning your own month, and if there's trips you wanted to take or whatever. But Roberta, maybe do you want to talk about what things you do
Yes.
to help people?
Absolutely, absolutely. I This is first one of my main passion, to help the people to really know this city or the places where I go. In this case, of course, Rome. So I will really sit with each of you, and I will be really interested in knowing what you really would like to do or visit, or what experience you would like to have, and I will be with you one by one to assist you, to suggest you things, to tell you what the best way to do this or that. And so you will really have a month of easy organization, let's say, and you can experiment really this city as a local. Thanks. I don't want to say thanks to me because it's not like, well, it is a little bit, but uh, yes, it's because, of course, I will be there always to uh, try to really understand what would you like to live in this month, and I want to make the most, of course, of your month. So
No,
yes.
I think it's a real value that you bring, Roberta, is a custom
Sure.
plan
Yeah.
for a month for each person based on who they are, uh, designed by a local who's got 30 years of experience in the travel industry. I think that's a beautiful thing, and I am very excited myself to be in Rome and get some of that advice.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Um, so, to Roberta's point, the the Good Life Abroad program, the way I think about it is it's a scaffold onto which you can build some structure, or it's a canvas and you can paint your own painting. And everyone's experience will look different because people are different, right? So whatever you want to do, and it might be as simple as I just want to sit at the cafe and watch the world go by and try some nice food and read a book, or visit places that I've heard about in books and movies. Whatever you want to do, everyone will have their own experience, and that's the beauty of the community manager, to help you paint the experience you want. Um, but one thing that everyone will enjoy is life moves more slowly, and
Oh,
that
yes.
is something I hope everyone appreciates.
Yeah.
Um, so okay, people, you might be out there thinking, it sounds great," but I'll tell you one thing: this is not for everyone. This is a different type of travel, and it's really not right for some people. Some people, try it and they complain, and there's different reasons why. And so I think it's important to be very clear about, you know, things to be aware of. Is it really right for you? One thing I can tell you. Well, Roberta, I would say, why don't you start? There are some things that people need to be aware of, that they really need to ask themselves, like, is this right for me?
Well, the city, let's speak about also some, not, let's say, not bad, but things that people that, yes, as you say, that have to be aware. The city is big. It's a lively city for good and for bad. Okay, so people, I think, have to just to have well, sorry, eyes open wide. Uh, so what is happening around? This is not the small town of a countryside where some guests can come from. This is a big city, it's a bustling city. So be aware of sometimes some pickpockets, but also this is a recommendation also for me. We watch out for pickpockets. There are not so many, but it can happen. Okay, there are a lot of crowds, so just be with your eyes well. And then cobblestones. Okay, Rome is really full of cobblestones. So walking, we walk a lot. Here, Rome, you have to walk. Okay, okay, you're gonna take a metro, but walking. Okay, so consider this up and down the hills. This could be a little bit,
Right. People
not
have
everybody.
mobility issues,
Yes, it
um,
could be
yeah, uneven surfaces, and
uneven
even with
surface.
public transportation, even with that, but you still be walking at least a mile or a few kilometers a
Sure,
day easily.
sure, absolutely. You don't realize. You realize at night when you go back home and you say, "Oh my God, I walked so much."
My feet hurt.
It's hurting everything. I'm not used to it. So, depending on the period, of course, the weather can change and can vary suddenly. So it can be cold, and then in the afternoon it's very hot. So depending on this, just also to be a little bit aware of this. And the heat here is very strong. We don't run program during the summer, but September, for example, there is our first program, there could be a little bit of heat. So the heat has to be considered because it's very humid. So it
Yeah.
could be, like a little bit. So if people don't like humidity, what maybe Rome is not
Yeah,
there.
but like you said, we don't offer perms July and August. That's like
So
the peak
absolutely.
heat. And then the beginning of September, maybe it's in the beginning still, but for
Still,
people in the U.S., it's like maybe in the 80s, high 70s, 80s Fahrenheit.
Yes, exactly.
We're not talking 100 degrees, not
Oh
40
no,
degrees Celsius in September. That is like a July, August time, but it's,
there could be some days, like some spot days, but still enjoyable. I mean, it's not August or July. The air is unbreathable here.
yeah. The other thing I was going to add is just, to be fair, I've said it before, but to be perfectly clear, this is not a tour, and therefore there's no like bus picking you up, taking you from, tour bus that takes you from here to here. So it is an independent program. The other thing I would add is we're not staying in a hotel, and a lot of people, this is the thing people have trouble with, is they're used to traveling and staying in hotels. Oh, I need some more towels. I need this. I call the front desk. No, you have an apartment, and it is that is your apartment, um, and there's towels and there's some hangers. But if you say, I want extra towels, there's no front desk. That is it. So it's like, oh, you have to go to the store and spend $2 and buy a towel, an extra towel if that's what you want, right? Or oh, I want to have some flowers. But that's part of living like a local, right? And I tell people, this is your apartment. You know, maybe spend $15 to make it feel more like yours if that's what you need. Like there's things that you like specifically. Um, I in most of our countries, I tell people, I encourage you actually to go spend $10 and buy a little shopping basket with wheels because this is what local people do when they go to the fresh market. You buy your things, and then they walk back, and yeah, it's $10, but and you're not going to take it home, but it's part of being a local, right? And it's like the experience, and maybe you leave it for the next group. But these kind of things to be aware of. You're not in a hotel. There's not like, oh, I want to go to that room, change to that room. No, these are apartments that are leased out, and there's other people living in this building. So I can't move from one apartment to the other. This is sort of what it is, and also we don't control the building. If there are issues, we can put in service requests and things, but the Good Life Abroad doesn't control the building. And sometimes, a leaky faucet or a toilet that's having some issues, that has to put in a service request, and then it has to get solved by the people who own the building. So I think this is all part of living like a local in an apartment versus a hotel,
Exactly.
and it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. So I like to be very clear about that.
Yeah.
All right, we talked about weather. Yep, you can see July and August really get hot. It starts to come down. Yep, you could have highs in the 80s in September. Um, May is exactly when it starts to go from the 70 to 80. It starts to get hotter. By the end of May, it starts to get hot, but it's nothing like the next couple of months, and it starts to drop down. So we don't run programs in July and August in Rome.
No.
But the rest of the year is almost always a great time. I mean, the rest of the year is really beautiful. Even in February, for those of you who are living in cold states in like Minnesota or Chicago in the summer or in the winter, you would be thrilled to have 58 degrees, and a low of 40 degrees. So it's even in the winter, it's a wonderful time
Yeah,
to go.
actually, we don't have a real winter, like very cold or minus temperature, like minus almost never. So it's very uh, quite warm,
Moderate.
I would say, enough, cold enough
Cool enough, yeah. But it doesn't snow or anything like that in Rome. No.
in the countryside.
Yeah. The other thing about Rome that's really great is how easy it is to get from Rome to so many other places across Italy because of the high-speed train system and the train station being walking distance from your apartment. Here are some examples of some places, but I mean, it's very easy to go to Florence for, even for the day, but I think Florence is always fun to do it overnight. Um, Anything you want to add to this, Roberta?
Yes, because we're actually center Italy, and it's true that every road that leads to Rome, also on the other opposite side. No, but yes, there is the train system is so good that really in one day, if they want to escape, they can go to Florence, go to the Amalfi Coast, even by train or ferry. This is another option as well. Orvieto, Umbria. It's beautiful. Nobody knows about Umbria. or the Cilento area is another, well, in the south. So yes, very comfortable, and every minute a train leaves, or less than a minute from the station. So
Okay, great. And it's very common for people to take weekend getaways. It's, I'd say like half of the group usually does something, at least one of the weekends, but also a lot of things to explore in Rome. So we're talking about considerations. We talk about this, uneven surfaces, not public transportation. And one of the questions we often have is about visitors. Can I have a friend come visit me? And we say, yes, it's no problem. However, we just ask because so many people have visitors coming through that they don't come to the official scheduled activities because it becomes confusing who's even in this community, and it sort of loses its sense of community with people coming and going in these events. You don't know who's part of the core community. That said, there's so many informal community events that happen with impromptu happy hours or visits to the theater that, of course, your visitors can go there and they're welcome to stay in the apartment. We also ask that you just let us know that you're having visitors so we can register them in advance. Just like a hotel, we do still have to register with the local authorities that people are coming and staying there. So we do need some information, and that's something you can do with the Good Life Abroad after you book. Just at least a month ahead of time, just let us know, hey, I've got some visitors and these dates, and then we can register them. So next steps, you're like, okay, this seems great, I want to do it, what do I do? Well, you go to our website, thegoodlifeabroad.com, you click book now, big button at the top, and then you'll see that there's different start dates throughout the year. There's different apartment sizes, one bedrooms, two bedrooms. So you need to pick your configuration. The price varies a bit based on the seasonality. So you just need to look at all the options, pick the date, pick the apartment, what size you want, and then the price will appear. It's $395 to book and hold your spot. That's a deposit. And then a month later, you pay half. And then 100 days before you go, you pay the other half. So half up front and half before you go. And yes, at this point, we're very much booking 2026. Some people are even booking 2027 at this point. It's definitely something, if you're interested, I encourage you to book with enough time because things do fill up. Then the cancellation policy you can see there. Basically, if you cancel more than 120 days in advance, your deposit converts into a credit. We can move that to a later time. Everything else gets refunded to you. And then as you get closer to the start date, it becomes less and less refundable until 45 days, at which point, at 45 days, if you cancel, then nothing is refundable. All right. Before we go into questions, again, if you have questions, use the Q&A button in the Zoom icon, Zoom toolbar. There's an icon that says a Q&A. So put your questions there. Roberta, is there anything just you want to say before we jump into questions? Any last thoughts you want to give people?
well, I would like to, yes, to tell people that Rome really has something for everyone. So don't hesitate, please, to don't be afraid, because I feel that a lot of people is a little bit afraid about this big city, but don't be, because there's no reason at all. And I'm here for you. So
That's
just that.
wonderful. I love it. All right. So, all right, we see there's some questions popping up. Let me go into the Q&A and hopefully we can get to most of these questions. Okay, good question here. Washers and dryers in the apartment. Laundry.
Yes, there is. We okay. This is very unfortunately in Italy. We don't have dryers unless specifically you have lived in some other places around the world and you found it. But we don't. Generally, we don't. But we have a washing machine, of course.
Is it
Uh,
in the apartment or is it a
yes.
laundry?
No,
It's
no,
in
no,
the
no.
apartment.
It is, each apartment has a washing machine,
Okay.
and then you have rack. Sorry, I don't know how to.
Drying.
To a dry rack, exactly, to for your clothes. So easy.
Question is, if we have people visit us, is there somewhere we can rent a rollaway bed? Or where would guests stay if they're visiting?
Oh, there is okay, there is a sofa bed also in the house, just in case you have a one bedroom apartment, for example. There is a beautiful and comfortable sofa bed, just in case you would like to host some
Yeah.
relative or friends.
So sofa, yeah, there's a
So
pull out bed from the
this-
sofa.
a rolling bed is
A rollaway bed is sort of like a little cot, like on wheels. But
oh
I
yeah,
think a
so
sofa bed would actually be more comfortable.
yeah,
I've
I
stayed in
think so.
those hotel roll
Of
beds,
course.
and it's not. Um, but what a lot of people do as well is they'll opt for the two-bedroom apartment, and
Mm.
that way their guests have their own bedroom, and then they have access to their own bathroom, and that's probably preferable, especially as we get older. I know these pull-out beds don't work on my back anymore. Are all the de apartments decorated the same? Um, Pretty
Yes, more
much,
or
yeah.
less.
It's the
Some
same building,
colors.
all the same property management company, but the
Yes,
colors change from bed to from apartment to apartment, right?
yes,
Is it,
exactly.
is there a place to store suitcases under the bed? Um,
Uh, well, there is place to store your suitcase anyway, but if you want, well, under the bed we don't have I mean, there is the floor under the bed. So yes, you can put your luggage under the floor if you want, or in the wardrobe, or in the yeah, there are
yeah.
plenty of storage place, no worries.
Or just yeah, off to the side. I mean, the one thing I want to say is that I don't remember the exact size, but in general, these European apartments are not as big as your American big
No,
apartments where we have storage for everything. You
no,
have to be flexible. If you need everything with built-ins and like this is not a good fit.
no,
This is not a good fit.
no.
Um, yeah, there's not like it's just different. It's very different. Heat,
Yes,
AC, yeah, air conditioning, heat is individually controlled by the apartment.
absolutely yes.
Question: do you people actually go in the water when you bring them to the beach?
Yes, they can. Well, let's see now, the end of September, October, but generally in Rome, Rome and the south as well, end of October, you can have a swim. So yes, people have to bring the swimsuits. See,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah,
are the costs of the happy hour and lunch included in our fee or are they additional? These are included. Everything that's a scheduled activity, the cooking class, the lunch, the happy hour, the walking tours, um, these are all a part of your program fee, including the medical insurance. And I should also mention, and Roberta's support is it's she's at the activities and she does the meetings with you, but also she's available using WhatsApp, that text messaging from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. So you
absolutely.
have a direct line to someone in the city if you need support or you want to have questions or want to plan something. So all this is included in that program fee. And yes, the apartments all have high-speed Wi-Fi. These are apartments where people could very well be doing work from if they need to.
Absolutely, yes.
A question: is it possible and feasible to rent Vespas?
Yes, of course you can. That's really that La Dolce Vita in its best expression. Yes, you can. Of course you can rent Vespas.
So you can help them do that once they
Of
arrive.
course,
Yeah.
sure, sure.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, that just seems a little more adventurous than I want to be. But um, so laundry's in the apartments. Yep. There's a couple questions on laundry. It's in the apartment. You have your washing machine, and then you have your drying rack to dry your clothes, and not a dryer. So be aware
And
of that.
the sun, yes. And
The
the sun
sun
will
is your friend.
dry your clothes,
Clothes.
yes.
My husband and I are interested in signing up for next October's trip to Rome. Special needs, including the two bathrooms, would be able to request this. And can we request a balcony apartment? You can definitely book the two bedroom, and the two bedroom has two baths. The balcony is
Yeah.
not guaranteed because, right? Is it because it depends on the availability of the apartments? Part of this is these are apartments that people might live in for months at a time. There's other people. So we don't have control over which specific apartments are available at which specific months. And the property, I believe, does not lock in specific apartments. It looks to see what becomes available and then tries to plug people in. I don't know if Roberta can add anything to that.
No, yes, we will once we receive the request, we will try to fit because I mean there are a couple of apartments with two bedroom, two bathroom, and a beautiful uh, balcony as well, but these are a little bit, of course, more also expensive. I mean, because it's a different layout.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there's a separate charge for that.
Yes,
But all of the apartments are very nice, and they're
beautiful.
all very much the same. So a lot of questions about washer and dryer. We've addressed that a couple of times. Do people stay longer than a month? Um, People can stay. There's a couple of points to this. One is if you do our program, the same program for 2 months, it is the same programming. So you may, some people, we've had this, people say, I don't care. I loved it. I love the community. I love that one restaurant you took me to. I'm happy to go back there again. So pe some people have stayed and done multiple months in a row. It is the same programming, just so you're aware of that. But if people wanted to do our program and then stay on in Rome independently, that can be arranged as well. And you could just we can book an apartment, or you can get your own apartment. So some people. Um, uh, Thinking Rome is the only city in Italy you offer, correct? Incorrect. We have programs in Florence, in Rome, in Sardinia and Cagliari.
Cagliari.
Cagliari. No one can pronounce that, right?
Yeah.
In Palermo, Sicily. So we have four programs throughout Italy. Um, Question: do the rooms have safes? I don't.
Yes.
They do. Okay.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
Item, is there a list of items included in the apartment? Uh,
What,
yeah,
what,
I think they just want to know like very specific. I mean,
mm,
we can. I think it's better if you have a specific question. I mean, how many hangers? How many? I mean, there's like a million things in this apartment, but there's a coffee maker, there's frying pan, kettle, microwave, stovetop,
cutlery.
cutlery, plates, pans, washing machine, dishwasher, uh, pillows, smart TV. If there's something specific you're interested in, we can address that.
Yeah.
Um, or if we sign up today, the annual membership expires before. Shouldn't we? Okay, so this person's asking, referring to an annual membership, but there is no annual membership. So this is somehow, somewhere, maybe out on the internet, someone said something, but I gotta clarify this. There is no annual membership fee to be part of the Good Life Abroad. You pay for the program that you book. You put down a deposit, 395, that holds your spot. If you hold your spot for a year and a half from now, that deposit is tied to that trip. That's it. There is no other fee. There's no membership that expires. So that's a very good that we can clarify that today. Will you recommend any particular tour companies for things such as touring the Vatican, or should we do our own research for tours?
Oh no. Oh no, no. I won't leave you alone in this big. No, absolutely. I will tell you a couple of agency first that I worked with or for, and that I know that they're very good small group sites and very good guides, official guides. So no, I will suggest you. Then you choose, of course, whatever you like, but I will address you to almost the best, I would say. I don't want to look like too much, but yes, I will suggest you really the best.
Um, yeah, because there's so many tour companies in
Yeah.
Rome. Like there's a wide range of quality. Um, One question someone had is, will you offer any optional tours that you
Yes.
will run? And what
Oh,
would
yes. Yes, I have a couple of optional tour, of course, to the well, out of Rome more, and also food tours, but guided tour, I'm not an official guide. Okay, so in Rome, in Italy, it's a little bit different. You have to be an official guide, and it's not um, easy. I mean, I cannot study and be an official guide like that. It's not. The government has to tell you when you can. So, and it doesn't happen until now. So, yes, I will do some tours based more on food, wine, or the Amalfi Coast or something like that. Yeah.
okay.
But for
And
other,
and
sorry.
people will know about these optional tours
Sure.
basically like in that 1 month before you go, we do the Zoom call. You think you'll be able to present the optional tours there?
Sure. Of course, and even before.
Even
We
before, okay.
follow, our guests since the beginning till the last day they check out, and so yes, they will know in quite an advance also about different tour, different option if they would like to do them or not, but they have, like ideas, suggestions. Yeah.
There's a question about whether, you as a community manager actually makes the reservations for them at museums or opera. I think that's a good
Oh,
question to clarify. We don't make the mus reservation. We can guide you to things, but
exactly.
you are ultimately responsible for making your own reservations, and
Absolutely.
we don't get involved there.
No,
Um,
no.
what's the bed configuration in the second bedroom? I think it's the same
Um,
as the master bedroom, right?
Yes, it is. Sometimes bed can be or big bedroom. We generally don't have a king size or queen size apartment bed apartment. Let's say the bed in the apartment. Sometimes we have two
Twins.
single beds put together, but very comfortable. Yes, like to make a double bed. So it depends. It varies. We don't have a lot of. I mean, we don't really care as Italian, about the dimensions of the beds.
But I
It's just,
believe in these apartments specifically, it's two
yes, that is some.
single beds that come together to form what's considered a European queen size bed, which is a
Exactly.
couple centimeters smaller than an American
Yes,
queen size bed. But it's two beds together, um, made as one bed.
yes, exactly. Sometimes there is a classic, a regular double bedroom. It,
Okay.
it depends.
And yes, sheets and blankets are provided in
Sure.
those apartments. Let's see. And how do they do check-in and pick up the key to their apartment?
Well, I will be there depending, of course, on the time they're arriving. I will personally welcome the guests. And otherwise, there will be a dedicated, let's say, person there is from the apartment. Okay, so it will be also their contact for example, maintenance or whatever it can happen. So they will be checked in also by another person, and they will get the key. There's a key, there is an electronic pad, so you are covered on both just in case you lose, for example, your card. But yes, that's the more or less the check-in.
And
So,
there's a few questions in here about like choosing the exact apartment. So, uh,
mhm,
no, you don't choose the exact apartment because we don't choose the exact apartment. There's standard apartments, and then there's these upgraded ones with the balcony that have a separate fee to them. So you get a standard apartment. The housing company says, okay, a standard one bedroom, this is the one you get, and it's assigned to us. It's like a hotel. You don't choose which hotel room, you choose the level. And so we said, okay, balcony, if there's availability and you want to pay for the additional fee, then we can see if there is one available, and then the property management company will assign the apartment. But they're all, you know, there's that one upgrade with the balcony, which
with the
but
terrace, I would say the big
it's more
terrace.
of a terrace. It's not like a balcony. You're not going to hang out and
Uh,
sit on it. It's small actually. It's not like you don't can't sit out on the balcony. No, it's like a smaller thing. But for the most, they're all the same. If it's a one bedroom standard, it's a one bedroom standard, and it doesn't matter which floor it's on. And
yes.
so they assign that to us.
Mm.
Um, and if there's an emergency for health issues, yes, Roberta's available 9 to 5 for questions and tips. But if there's an emergency, you can call anytime.
Of
But
course.
we just like to be clear, an emergency is not like what kind of wine pairs with this food. It's no, I'm in the hospital
Yeah.
or something like that.
I'm feeling
Uh,
bad, or yeah.
yeah. Can Roberta arrange for a pickup at the airport? Um, there are companies that do transfers, and we can provide you a link to that. It's a third-party company that does transfers. But really, it's almost easier to just walk into an Uber and say, "Here's my address," and then go, and they'll take you to the door, and it'll be a fraction of the price. But there are services that we have some partnerships with that do airport transfers. And evacuation insurance is simply if um, you have, if there's, I mean, this is not something that will happen. A military uprising, war breaks out in Rome, and you need to be taken out. The insurance we provide covers up to $500,000. Similarly, if you had like some kind of medical thing that could not be treated locally. Now, Rome is a European capital. They have the full range. If anything, people in other parts of Italy would go to Rome for more advanced treatments. But if the insurance company deemed that you needed to be taken out, then that evacuation insurance would cover that. There's a few questions on money and spending money. The one thing I'll say is I charge everything just using Apple Pay, the touch to pay, because you get a better rate than if you go to the exchange desks. And so I actually recommend people not taking lots of dollars and changing it there, and just everything is with credit card now. And maybe just take a small handful of euros for, small tips or incidentals. Uh,
Yes, exactly.
we'll be doing a webinar in Palermo. Yes, that is coming up. That will be announced. It's going to be in September, I believe September 3rd. It'll be added to our website later this week. Okay, we've gone past the time. I'm sorry if we didn't get to all of your questions, but we got to most of them. Thank you, Roberta. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it. It's great to see you. And
Thank you very much.
yeah,
Nice to see
hopefully
you
some of
too.
these folks will come visit you.
Please come. I will be waiting for you. I'll be very happy to welcome you and to show this beautiful, beautiful city. Please
All
come.
right. Ciao,
Grazie,
Roberta.
Andrew.
Grazie
Ciao.
mille.
Ciao a tutti.
Ciao.